Yo, what's up, guys? It's Noah here, breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, February the 27th. We're going to cover Thursday's short four-game slate, go position by position, talk about the guys that stand out to me the most looking at this slate on Wednesday night. I'll give you guys some of my early thoughts, just what I'm seeing at each position. We'll look at DraftKings pricing, hit on some players I like there. We'll switch over to Yahoo. We'll talk about some guys I do like on Yahoo as well. Just before we do get started, as always, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You'll never miss out on any of my new videos. Appreciate it if you guys would do that. Also, if you would like, you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is linked down in the description of this video. At DFS by Noah. You can give me a follow over there. I am very active over on Twitter. If you ever need to contact me, you can do so there. So give me a follow on Twitter. Check out the Patreon as well. I do have a lot of NBA content, exclusive content going up on Patreon throughout the day. I get these videos up on YouTube the night before, give you guys some of my early thoughts. But if you want more of my updated thoughts on the slate, my updated core plays, access to my article that I do Monday through Friday, that I write Monday through Friday, it's usually an 8 to 10 page article, very in depth, highlighting all my favorite plays at each position. You can get access to all that content over on Patreon, link down below. So check all that out. Like the video and subscribe. And let's go ahead and take a look at point guard for today's four-game slate. So for it to only be 4 games, this is a slate where we do have a lot of injuries. As you can already see, looking at the point guard position, there's a lot of red O's on DraftKings. We do know LeBron's going to be out today. Damian Lillard's going to remain out. Ben Simmons is going to be out. Curry is still going to be out. There's also some other injuries. Victor Oladipo is questionable. Guys like Bagley and Holmes are still going to be out. One of the big ones as well is that Joel Embiid, he got hurt on Wednesday night against the Cavs. Really sucked because I did have a lot of Embiid in my lineups, which obviously was very tilting. Embiid got hurt Wednesday night, was not able to return. Or actually, he got hurt, came back, and then got hurt again, and then had to go to the locker room twice in that game against Cleveland. Ultimately, was not able to return. I'm pretty sure I read that it's like a shoulder strain. I'm going into this slate assuming that Embiid does not play, given that he wasn't able to return Wednesday night. It's a back-to-back for Philly. I mean, this is a game that Philly should be able to win against the Knicks. I don't think they're going to rush Embiid back here. So the Sixers are going to be a team we definitely talk about in this video. They're going to be without Joel Embiid, most likely, and they're going to be without Ben Simmons. And the Lakers as well, going to be without LeBron James tonight. So we will talk about a lot of Lakers guys. But starting off at the point guard position, we'll hit on CJ McCollum at the top, our most expensive point guard. He's $9K on DraftKings. If we look at Yahoo's pricing, CJ McCollum is $38 over on Yahoo. I still really like CJ McCollum. It's not the best spot against the Pacers, but you just look at his numbers the last 3 games with Damian Lillard out. He's played 37, 43, and 38 minutes, has put up 50, 76, and 55 DraftKings points. Like, McCollum is just, he's an elite fantasy player when you take Damian Lillard off the floor. Has like a 33 or 34% usage rate. Averages like 1.25 fantasy points per minute. He's been averaging more than that just as of late. Been averaging about 1.3 fantasy points per minute, I believe. I still think at 9K, CJ McCollum is totally in play today. With a lot of the stud options out, like LeBron out, Joel Embiid most likely going to be out. We don't have a ton of studs on this short slate. Like Anthony Davis is most likely going to be our most expensive player. And obviously with LeBron out, we're definitely going to want to try and get Anthony Davis into our lineups. But then the next most expensive guy is Domantas Sabonis at 9,100. So with all the value we already have, I mean, there's so much value from Philly. There's a lot of value from the Lakers. It's going to be very easy to pay up for multiple options today. I definitely like CJ McCollum as one of the top pay-up options on the slate. I think even in a tough spot against Indiana, like McCollum is still just going to have the ball in his hand so much, going to get so much usage with Lillard off the floor. I mean, the last 3 games, he's took 22, 30, 24 shots, double-digit assists in all 3 of those games. He's pretty much got like a 35, 40-point floor. Like, even if he has a terrible game, like he's probably still going to give you 35, 40 DK points. There's obviously massive upside for him as well if this game can stay close. They're going to run CJ McCollum out there for nearly 40 minutes, so I really like him as a pay-up option. Once we get down to this mid-range, you have guys like Chris Paul, Fox, SGA. Fox is someone I do like quite a bit at 7,600. I still think he remains too cheap on DraftKings. This is a guy that has 45, 50-point upside. It's not the best spot against OKC. OKC, very quality defense, really good defensively against guards. Chris Paul is a pretty good defender, even though he's in towards the later stages of his career, he's still a pretty good defender. I still have interest in Fox, though, at 7,600. Like, that's just way too cheap of a price tag for him for the upside that he has. Malcolm Brogdon's in a really good spot. This is a guy that I haven't played, like, at all recently. He just hasn't been the same player that he was at the beginning of the season, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, the Pacers have Victor Oladipo now. They have, like, TJ Warren, who's been taking up a lot of usage recently. Domantas Sabonis is doing a lot offensively. But there's still massive upside for Malcolm Brogdon, especially in a really good matchup like this one against Portland. Portland, a really bad defensive team. They've been one of the worst defensive teams this season. They ranked 27th in defensive rating. This is a pretty big pace-up spot for Indiana, facing the Trailblazers, who are playing at the 11th fastest pace in the league. They're going to need Brogdon's defense to guard a guy like CJ McCollum. I expect Brogdon plays probably 32 to 34 minutes if this is a close game, and I think this game can stay close. Only got 25 minutes against Charlotte in their last game, but a lot of that had to do with blowout. They beat the Hornets by nearly 40 points. I would expect Brogdon gets back to his normal 32, 34 minutes. So I do have some interest in him and Fox. Both those two guys in the mid-range I think are fine options. I don't consider either guy core plays, though, because there's definitely some value we'll talk about at point guard that we have. But just hitting on this value, I mean, Draymond Green's 5,500. He's expected to play today. Although DraftKings has him listed as questionable, he's actually probable, expected to play. Normally, I wouldn't target Draymond against the Lakers, but the Lakers are going to be without LeBron James, which makes their defense a little bit worse. Them not having LeBron also makes it more likely this game stays competitive. It's being played in Golden State. I think this game could stay close, and we're probably going to get like 30, 32 minutes from Draymond. He's down to 5,500 on DraftKings. I think he's a fine option to go to. Not a core play by any means, but definitely would be a guy I'd have in my player pool if I was playing multiple lineups. And then we get to the value from Philly and from the Lakers. So starting off with the Philly value, assuming both Joel Embiid, or we know Ben Simmons is going to be out, but assuming Embiid is out as well, I think a guy like Shake Milton becomes a very interesting option. He's 4,700 on DraftKings. He's not incredibly cheap. But he had a really good game Wednesday night, especially after Embiid got out. He was kind of able to thrive. We'll look at the game log real quick. In that game against the Cavs, he played 37 minutes, had about 34 fantasy points, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block. He does see a really big spike in usage when you take both Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons off the floor. There's going to be a lot of beneficiaries here. Joel Embiid is a very high usage player. Ben Simmons, a guy that's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. So getting those two guys off the floor is just going to change this offense a lot. You look at the numbers this season for a guy like Shake Milton. He's only played 87 minutes with those two guys off the floor, so somewhat of a small sample size. But he has a 27% usage rate, which leads the team, averaging about 0.95 fantasy points per minute, close to a fantasy point per minute, 20.4% usage rate. Pretty solid numbers for Shake Milton. I think he's going to be able to get a lot of shots up in this game. I think he's going to have the opportunity. He's 4,700 on DK, which, like I said, he got priced up. He's not like a free square by any means. But on Yahoo, he's only $10. I mean, he's minimum salary over there. I think he does stand out as one of the better overall values on Yahoo. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm assuming that Joel Embiid does not play today, which is going to make me have a lot of interest in some of these Philly guys, some of this Philly value. The pricing on DraftKings and Yahoo was already released before Embiid got hurt, so they weren't able to adjust the prices for the fact that Embiid might miss today. So you're getting some really good value from Philly, and a guy like Shake Milton I like quite a bit. Pretty cheap on both sides, especially at Yahoo where he's minimum salary. And then the other value we'll talk about is from the Lakers. Rajon Rondo, I think, is the top value play on the slate today. 3,500 on DraftKings, just incredibly cheap. The price tag was not adjusted for the fact that LeBron James is going to be out tonight. Whenever LeBron has missed games this season, we've seen Rondo put up monster outings. He usually starts when LeBron is out. I'm pretty sure he has started the last 2 games that LeBron has missed. Like I said, really cheap on both sides. 3,500 on DK, $13 on Yahoo. We'll take a look at his numbers this season with LeBron James off the floor. When LeBron's off the floor, Rondo's going to be the primary ball handler. Should be able to rack up plenty of assists. You look at his assist rate with LeBron off the floor, it's at 42%. His usage rate is at 20.5%. He's averaging over a fantasy point per minute when you take LeBron off the floor. Just really good numbers from Rondo. We know this is a very productive player when he gets the minutes. He's just one of those guys that can contribute in all categories. He can score, he can rebound, he can get assists. I mean, the dude legit has triple-double upside. Like we saw him against the Suns. In 27 minutes, he was able to put up 40 DraftKings points, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Like, Rondo could easily go for 35, 40 DK points tonight, and I would not be surprised at all. Like I said, I'm assuming he starts. They could maybe do something weird and not start him. Like maybe they could start Kyle Kuzma and then shift like Avery Bradley down to point guard. I don't know, but I'm assuming that Rondo gets a start. Even if he doesn't, I still think he's going to get enough minutes off the bench to be able to pay off this cheap price tag. Alex Caruso should get some more run as well with LeBron out. He's 3,400. I would rather play Rondo because I think Rondo just gets more minutes. But Caruso would still be a guy to have some exposure to, especially if I am playing multiple lineups. At 3,400, he's another guy you could look to. But I think Rondo's the guy we're definitely going to be targeting from the Lakers tonight. He's going to be really popular, but just kind of chalky. You kind of have to eat and move on. Like he's really hard to get away from, assuming he does start tonight. So we'll move on to shooting guard since we covered point guard. You got CJ McCollum here. I talked about McCollum. I really like him, even at a 9K price. I think he's one of the better stud options today. Andrew Wiggins is fine at 7,200 against the Lakers. Like I said, not the best matchup, but getting LeBron out there is going to make their defense a little bit worse. You're going to have Rondo out there replacing LeBron. Rondo, obviously, not nearly as good of a defender as LeBron is. So Wiggins at 7,200 is a guy that's fine to go to. In this mid-range, not really much stands out here that I love. Like, Buddy Hield's kind of been in the doghouse recently, just not getting a ton of minutes. I don't want to pay nearly 6K for RJ Barrett. Damian Lee, 5,400, I don't really like. Josh Richardson, however, I do have a ton of interest in today. I think with Embiid and Simmons both out, like that is going to make Richardson a really good option. Should be able to get a lot of usage with those guys off the floor. I can pull the numbers back up, but you guys know like his usage rate, it's pretty high when you take both Simmons and Embiid off the floor. And, I mean, it makes sense getting those guys off the floor. There's going to be a lot of beneficiaries. I think the big three from Philly today, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Josh Richardson. I think those are going to be the three main guys we want to get exposure to. I think Shake Milton's also in play as well. You look at Richardson, the fantasy production's kind of weird. I mean, he's only averaged 0.77 fantasy points per minute with both Simmons and Embiid off the floor. But he does, however, have a 26.3% usage rate, which is a pretty big spike. He sees nearly a 5% bump in usage when you take those guys off the floor. So he's going to be able to get more shots up, just going to have more opportunity, going to have the ball in his hands more. Against the Knicks, this is not a matchup I'm scared of at all. We should expect Josh Richardson to play big minutes if this is a close game, which I think it will be, especially with Philly being so shorthanded tonight. I don't see the Knicks blowing them out. So I really like Richardson on DK. He's very cheap on Yahoo, so I think he stands out over there as well. Richardson, only $14, looks like a pretty good value over on Yahoo. And I'm totally fine playing Richardson and Milton together. I think you can definitely do that on Yahoo. Two really good values. We talked about Richardson at shooting guard. In terms of value plays here, under 5K, looking for cheap options. I mean, not much really stands out. Like Korkmaz, I think will get a lot of run off the bench. He's 4,400. He's a fine option to go to. Maybe with LeBron out, you could target guys like Danny Green and KCP, but I doubt I'd go to them. I'd probably rather play Rondo. I'd probably rather play Caruso. I'd even rather play Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley's really cheap, 3,300. We know his minutes are going to be pretty consistent. The production's always inconsistent. Like, you never know what you're going to get from Avery Bradley. But with LeBron out, that's going to allow him to get more usage, just more opportunity. Taking LeBron off the floor, I mean, there's going to be a lot of beneficiaries there. So it's fine to go to Bradley too, but I think I really like Richardson as a value at shooting guard. From the Lakers, I really like Rondo and Caruso, and that's probably it. Don't see myself going to like KCP or Caruso. Just don't think these are going to be guys I really target. So let's go ahead and move on to the small forward position. So two injuries at the top here. Obviously, LeBron out, Ben Simmons out. So most expensive small forward is Tobias Harris. I think Tobias Harris is a great option today with Ben Simmons out and probably Embiid out as well. It's a small sample size, but he's averaged 1.21 fantasy points per minute with those guys off the floor. Has nearly a 27% usage rate, 13.7% assist percentage. He has the highest total rebound percentage, or second highest total rebound percentage on the team, behind guys like Kyle O'Quinn and Norvell Pell, but we honestly don't even know how many minutes those guys are going to get. So it's very likely you get like a 25 and 10 kind of double-double from Tobias Harris. Should be able to rack up plenty of rebounds with Embiid off the floor. Should be able to get more shots up as well. Might even be able to handle the ball a little bit more when you take Ben Simmons off the floor. He's 7,500. The price tag really didn't move. He's still very affordable. I think Tobias Harris, a pretty strong option today at small forward. If you do want to go to him, I do prefer him over someone like Andrew Wiggins. I think I'd rather go to Harris there. I just have a feeling like Philly and the Lakers are going to be like the two teams I really focus on today. because those are the two teams that are really shorthanded, that are going to be missing some star players. Those are the teams that kind of present us with the most value. But looking at small forward mid-range options, TJ Warren at 6K in a pace-up spot against Portland, I do have a good amount of interest in. Really good matchup here. We talked about it earlier. Portland been one of the worst defensive teams this season, 27th in defensive rating on the season. Normally, TJ Warren's not a guy that I play, especially like when it's a big slate, but that's not the case today. We only have 4 games. Our options are really limited, so I think you can definitely play TJ Warren at 6K in that mid-range. I think a guy like Harrison Barnes is fine to go to, just getting monster minutes every night. He's only 5,300, still pretty affordable, so I do have some interest in him. But in terms of value plays at small forward, I don't think there's really any punt options here. We saw Matisse Thybulle get start the second half for Embiid. They went with Al Horford at center, Tobias Harris at the 4, Thybulle at the 3, and then they had Shake Milton and Josh Richardson in the backcourt. I think it's possible you see Thybulle move into the starting lineup today. He's only 3,100. He's a fine option to consider for value. Obviously, this is kind of a risky play. Like, you never know what you're going to get from Thybulle, but if he's going to start and play like 26, 28 minutes, if not more, I mean, at 3,100 against the Knicks, like, you could do worse on a 4-game slate. So he would be in play. I don't think he'd be a core value for me. I think my core values are definitely going to come from Philly and from the Lakers. From the Philly, backcourt, I should say, with Richardson and Milton. Those are the guys I like most. But Tybulle's an option you could consider. Let's go ahead and talk about the power forward position. So I think at power forward, we have clearly one of the best plays on the slate today. Anthony Davis, 10,300. Looking at Yahoo's pricing, got AD at $53. It's a short slate. We don't have a lot of stud options. A lot of our studs are out today. No James, no Lillard, probably no Embiid as well. I think you just kind of jam in Anthony Davis and move on. You can take a look at his numbers, or we can take a look at his numbers with LeBron off the floor. He obviously gets a nice bump when you take LeBron off the floor. Does see a little bit of a bump in usage. Also sees a spike in his fantasy point per minute average, averaging 1.63 fantasy points per minute with LeBron off the floor. 33.7% usage rate, 18% assist percentage, 15.5% total rebound percentage. A lot of upside for Anthony Davis in this spot against the against the Warriors. I don't expect anyone to be able to slow him down. I mean, they can put Draymond Green on AD, but AD is matchup proof. He's going to get whatever he wants. He's going to be fed the ball with LeBron out. They're going to give AD as many shots as he can handle, as much usage as he can handle. I don't know how you get away from him. With the few amount of studs that we have today, AD just projects so well. I know he's going to be popular, but if you fade AD, who are you really playing over him? Guys like Sabonis. I mean, McCollum I could see playing over AD, but honestly, there's enough value. You can play McCollum and AD together. I just don't think it makes sense to play McCollum, Whiteside, and Chris Paul over a guy like AD and Rondo. These guys just project so much better. I'm just going to be eating the chalk there. I think AD is the best play on the slate, and he's the best stud option on the slate. I don't think it's really even close. Now, if somehow, by some chance, Joel Embiid's able to play Thursday, then that would change things up a little bit. But like I said, I'm assuming Embiid doesn't play Thursday, so that really just leaves AD as our top stud option. Domantas Sabonis, though, I do have some interest in at 9,100. This is a pretty good matchup against Portland. I would expect him to dominate in this matchup. Miles Turner was out the last time they played Portland, so Sabonis was able to benefit. I mean, he played 41 minutes, had 66 Draftkings points. Don't expect that kind of game from Sabonis, but even with Miles Turner healthy, Sabonis has shown monster upside. He's going to be guarded by Carmelo Anthony a lot in this game. When Turner's off the floor and Sabonis is getting run at center, he's going to be very productive during that time. I really like Sabonis at 9,100. I'd have CJ McCollum ranked ahead of him. I'd have AD ranked ahead of him. But there's a lot of value today. You can definitely get Sabonis, McCollum, and AD together if that's a route you want to go. So I do have quite a bit of interest on Domantas Sabonis at 9,100. Tobias Harris, we talked about, I like quite a bit at 7,500. With the Sixers most likely not having Joel Embiid for Thursday, becomes a little bit of a better matchup for Julius Randle, so I think it's 7,800. He's a fine option to go to. I'd rather play Sabonis over him if I can get the salary. I'd probably save salary and play Harris. But I would definitely have exposure to Randle on a short slate, especially because I think Philly will most likely struggle defensively today. I mean, they're missing 2 of their better defenders in Simmons and Embiid. But other power forwards, I think the clear option here, without a doubt, is Al Horford. 5,200 on DraftKings. Stands out as one of the best options in the mid-range. Very affordable on Yahoo as well, only $19. So as we've discussed throughout this video, Joel Embiid got hurt Wednesday night, assuming he's going to be out today. That's going to make Al Horford probably one of the better options on the slate to go to. We can take a look at his numbers this season with both Embiid and Simmons off the floor. Has pretty elite numbers, much better numbers than you've seen Horford post throughout the season. 1.19 fantasy point per minute average, 23% usage rate, which is very high, 31% assist percentage, 13.5% total rebound percentage. You look at the differential, sees about a 5% bump in usage, sees a nice bump in his fantasy point per minute average as well. It's going to be hard for me not to go to Al Horford today at 5,200. I know he's going to be really popular if Embiid is out, but he's just way too cheap. Whenever Embiid misses, like Horford usually posts, or usually gives you at least like 30, 35 DraftKings points. I mean, he's got 40, 45 point upside here. Like, he's got legit triple-double upside. I could see Horford finishing with like 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. Like, I would not be surprised at him or to see him put up a line similar to that. I mean, he had a pretty good game Wednesday night against the Cavs after Embiid got hurt. Finished with 31 fantasy points, played 34 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Just overall really productive line from him. With the price tag not moving, or not able to move, I should say, since the pricing came out so early and they were not able to adjust for Embiid getting hurt, like, you're getting really good value from Philly today from the front court, and I think Al Horford, assuming he gets the start at center, which I am assuming is going to happen, I think he's one of the better options at the power forward and center position. But then if we're talking about value here, I think there is a clear value here as well, a clear value play. Kyle Kuzma, 3,900 on DraftKings. I like a ton with LeBron out for tonight. With LeBron out, I think it is much more likely that you see Kuzma in the closing lineup whenever games or whenever the game's down like to the final 4 or 5 minutes. We've seen times this season like Kuzma won't close out games, like that he'll be on the bench even in crunch time. But I don't expect that to be the case. Their closing lineup is most likely going to be like, it's probably going to be Rondo, Bradley, Danny Green, Kuzma, and Anthony Davis. If I had to guess, that's probably going to be their closing lineup. So I think we're going to get probably 30, 32 minutes from Kyle Kuzma. Even if he comes off the bench, I still expect him to play pretty big minutes. He's averaged close to a fantasy point per minute this season with LeBron off the floor. Has a 26% usage rate, which is the second highest on the team behind Anthony Davis. So very solid numbers from Kuzma. This is a guy that I rarely play this season, but when I do play him, it's usually when LeBron or AD miss. Whenever one of those two guys miss, I think Kuzma becomes a very good option. And that's the case today, especially with him being 3,900. Like, that is an incredibly cheap price tag for Kyle Kuzma, especially when you factor in that LeBron's not going to play today. Even if the Lakers blow out the Warriors, I think Kyle Kuzma probably still even gets blowout run. We've seen him play in blowouts this season, so feels very safe at 3,900. Gives you a lot of upside at that salary. Definitely like him as a value option at the power forward and center position. I think on Yahoo he's in play as well. He is priced up, though. He's $16, so he's not a must-play by any means. Like, if I can find $3, I would much rather play Al Horford over Kyle Kuzma. But I would still have Kuzma in my player pool. I would still get exposure to him if I was playing multiple lineups. I think on DraftKings, though, where he's under 4K, that's where he really stands out the most. Let's go ahead and hit on the center position real quick, guys. We'll start off at the top. Like I said, Joel Embiid, or I'll say it for the final time, Joel Embiid got hurt Wednesday night. I'm recording this Wednesday night after that game finished. Because it's a back-to-back for the Sixers, I am assuming that Embiid does not play today. He will undergo an MRI on his left shoulder. It was a shoulder injury. Because it's a back-to-back, I have very little doubt or very little confidence that Embiid plays today. I'm going to assume they're going to hold him out, especially against the Knicks. Now, if this was like a big-time game against like the Bucks or something, or the Lakers, I mean, maybe they rush Embiid back, but a game against the Knicks that they probably should win, I think they're going to sit Embiid today. So we're going to get some value from Philly that we talked about already. So really don't have Embiid as a pay-up option. You do have Sabonis at 9,100, who I have some interest in. You also have Whiteside at 8,800. I think between Whiteside and Sabonis, I'd rather roster Sabonis. But I mean, Whiteside's getting monster minutes right now. Been incredibly productive. 48-plus DraftKings points in 3 straight games. 32, 38, 36 minutes. Like, Whiteside's going to play 35, 36 minutes if this is a close game. He dropped 52 DraftKings points on the Pacers earlier this season. I'd probably project him for 36 minutes and like 50 DraftKings points today. So still feels like a very solid option at 8,800. It just sucks because we do have some good value from the center position with guys like Al Horford, Kyle Kuzma center eligible as well. But if you can pay up, Sabonis and Whiteside are definitely in play. The mid-range, I don't really like much in the mid-range. Like Steven Adams, Marquise Chris, I doubt I go to those guys today. Harry Giles, I think, is still in play. He got priced up to $5,500 on DraftKings, which that's a pretty expensive price tag for Harry Giles. On Yahoo, though, he's really cheap. He's still cheap over there. He's only $14. I think if I'm going to play Harry Giles, it's going to be on Yahoo at this $14 salary. Last 2 games, he's been playing really well. 31, 23 minutes, 33 and 32 fantasy points. The minutes are always a concern with Harry Giles, but with how well he's been playing, I have to assume they're going to continue to give him probably at least 24 to 25 minutes a night. He did get 4 fouls in that game against Golden State, so maybe foul trouble kind of cost him a couple minutes there. I think we probably get 26, 28 minutes from Harry Giles. At $14 on Yahoo, definitely in play as a center value. At $5,500 on DraftKings, probably look elsewhere. I don't think you have to go to him at that salary. Then you have guys like Miles Turner, Mitchell Robinson. Miles Turner's coming off a monster game against Charlotte where he dropped 42 DraftKings points in 27 minutes. I doubt I go to Miles Turner today, especially if people are going to chase that game. Like I would rather roster Al Horford. I mean, Al Horford's the same salary as Miles Turner. Like I would just rather play Horford today. Don't really want to go to Mitchell Robinson. Like his minutes are always inconsistent. He's been playing better as of late. Had a nice game against Houston. Had a really good game Wednesday night against Charlotte. He's been playing better, but still the minutes are tough to trust with Mitchell Robinson. He's not that cheap either, $5K. So yeah, I think that's probably it for center. Dwight Howard's got really good numbers this season with LeBron off the floor. He's averaged 1.25 fantasy points per minute, 24.8% total rebound percentage. It's just a matter of like how many minutes is Dwight Howard going to play. With LeBron out, I don't think that really affects Dwight Howard's minutes, but I do expect him to be very productive when he's on the floor. It is a really good matchup against the Warriors. I mean, Dwight Howard can hit value in 16 minutes. We've seen him do it before. I think there's better value. Like, I'd rather roster Rondo. I'd probably rather play Kuzma as well. Dwight Howard's just more of like a tournament play, low-owned kind of guy. You just kind of have to hope pops off in his whatever 20, 22 minutes that he plays. So yeah, guys, I think we covered everything for center. I think we talked about everything here. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I really appreciate you watching. Short 4-game slate today. I'm sure we'll be back Friday with the bigger slate on Friday. We'll be breaking all that down Thursday night. I'll have a video up for that, obviously. But best of luck tonight on Thursday, or for Thursday night slate. Like I said, guys, hope you enjoyed. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe as well if you have not yet. Click that notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You'll never miss out on any of my new videos. Also, if you would like, you can check out my Patreon, link down below in the description of this video. You can get access to my exclusive NBA content that I post throughout the day. I do provide a lot of updated thoughts on the slate. I give updated court plays over on Patreon, so you can check that out. Link down in the description. You can also follow me on Twitter. Link down in the description is my Twitter, @DFSbyNoah. If you want to give me a follow there, I would greatly appreciate it. But best of luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we will be back tomorrow. Peace.